Welcome to another episode of PC Building Simulator. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day so far. Let's get into our email and see what we have going on for today. This first email says, do you work with computers or would you be able to build me a new computer? Performance-wise, can you aim for a benchmark of 8211? CPU needs to be cooled with a custom water cooling loop. Need this pretty soon, 4 days at the latest. Have you heard of AMD? They're meant to be pretty good. Heard you guys put used parts in PCs, please don't do that. Well, a very long time ago, maybe when Tim was running this place, used parts were put in new builds, but that does not happen anymore. Well, let's go ahead and accept that one. All right. So the next one says, hey there, I've got a bit of an issue. My nephew came over yesterday and I wanted to see my new gaming PC. Thought I'd show him one of my favorite games from back in the day, Doom. It's a real beauty. I gave it a 10 out of 10 in PCM number 59, December 1993. And I still reckon it's one of the best and the scariest games ever made. So I went online and grabbed a digital copy of Doom, but the menu screen looks way different to what I was expecting, and it's all running so slow I can't even play the first level. I did a bit of research and apparently they made a new Doom. I guess I bought that by mistake. But I've spent the money now, so I might as well enjoy it. I just need a few upgrades to get it running. Can you make sure my PC meets the minimum specs? Cheers. So that says minimum. Down here it says recommended. Budget of $1,300. Take a look at what he's already got. A Pentium G4400 and an R9 280. The 280 might not be too bad for Doom, but that Pentium is gonna hurt. I think we can get him upgraded and working for $1,300, so let's go ahead and accept that one. Now let's go up here. We'll skip S nut for now. Hopefully the S doesn't stand for salty. Let's see what Joan needs. It says, my friend said you work with computers. Build me a PC. I need a new rig. I'm a pretty hardcore gamer, so I need it to benchmark at least 7585. CPU can definitely hit 5200 megahertz. Can you overclock it for me? Can you get that done by tomorrow? Everybody always wants everything done by tomorrow. Such a pain. Anyway, have you heard of Intel? They're meant to be pretty good. I worry about used parts. So for $2,750, they want a 3D Mark score of 7585 and a CPU overclocked to 5200 megahertz by tomorrow. All right, so let's go ahead and we will accept that one. So let's go back here. We need water cooling. Let's get our shops open. What am I looking for? Custom water cooling shop. All right, I'm going to step away, get some parts for this build, put into the shopping carts, and I will be right back. Okay, so for this first build, we're going to go with a Gigabyte X470 Aorus Gaming 7 motherboard, a Ryzen 7 2700X, 4 sticks of Gigabyte RAM, 8 gig, 3200 megahertz, a NVIDIA RTX 2080 Founders Edition, 850 watt Gigabyte power supply, and a 2 terabyte Gigabyte NVMe M.2 drive. As for the cooling, we're going to go with an Alpha Cool block, an Alpha Cool reservoir, and an Alpha Cool radiator. This thing not take the... Hold on. I clicked it. It did not take the case. There we go. I want to put it in a Be Quiet Pure Base 600 window case. All right. So for that DOS guy, we need to get his PC upgraded to play Doom. Let's get Will It Run up. Doom recommended spec. So he needs an i5 9600K and a 1080 at least. And he doesn't have anything close to any of that. So I'm going to step away, get some parts for him, put in the cart, and be right back. Okay, so for this upgrade to play Doom, we're going to go with the ASRock Z390 Pro 4 motherboard, an i5 9600K, 2 sticks of Patriot Viper steel, a 4 gig, 3200 megahertz, a MSI GTX 1080 and a gigabyte Aorus M.2 drive. It is a 256 gigs. Hopefully that will speed him up because he doesn't have any kind of SSD in there. All right, and for this last build, to get a 3D Mark score of 7585 with an overclocked CPU, I'm going to step away, get some parts put in the cart for this one, and I will be right back. And lastly, for this overclocking build, we're going to go with the MSI MEG Z390 Ace, an i7-9700K, a Silverstone HE01 air cooler, 2 sticks of Corsair Dominator Platinum, 8 gig, 3200 megahertz, and MSI GTX 1080 Ti, 650 watt power supply, 3 terabyte hard drive. What was this? A 1 terabyte M.2 SSD. We're going to put that in the Antec P110 loose. We're going to add some fans. We're going to get 4 of these Arctic Bionics F140s and 1 F120. All right, lots of stuff in that build. Let's make sure everything's ready for next day delivery. We'll buy all that now. Let's go get all of our water cooling parts for next day delivery. We can go end our day. We can get in our parts and our upgrade. I already paid the utility bill. Get in our parts and upgrade, and we can get to work whenever this game is ready. All right. What the heck is this? Just a random case. Let's throw that in the cabinet. Get this upgrade. We'll put that here. Let's see. We'll put that there. And lastly, the overclocking build there. Let's get the right people, though. Joan wants their stuff overclocked. And Useful K wants water cooling. All right, let's take a look at this upgrade. Let's get this thing pulled apart. Let's get all the stuff unhooked here. Get this whole motherboard out of here. Graphics card gone. Whoops. I clicked the wire. There we go. Get everything disconnected. Pull the motherboard out, and we can get the new motherboard in, which is the ASRock Z390 Pro 4. Is that the right one? Did I have 2 of them? Oh no, that's the Mortoni. Okay. Just making sure. I've been known to buy multiple things accidentally. Let's get this thing ready for RAM and CPU. Let's see. We're putting the 9600K in here. Why don't I just click fits this PC? That'll save some time. Get the 9600K in there. And we will get the 2 sticks of Patriot Viper steel. There we go. All right, put a little thermal paste on there. Let's go ahead and get some storage put in here. We're putting the Gigabyte Aorus NVMe drive. Put that here. Let's grab his CPU cooler. Whatever it was. What was it? This cryo rig. Should be just fine. Then we can get the 1080. And so, oops, graphics cards, not memory. Let's see, not the TI, just the regular 1080. There we go. think we are ready to cable this up. Can't have any fancy cables, so we're not going to put any fancy cables in this box. Whoops, that's the power button. Let's go ahead, put a USB drive in here, because we've got a new boot drive. We'll power this up, hop into the BIOS, make sure we've got XMP on, and that we're booting from the right drive. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and put this side panel back on, and we are done with this upgrade. Turned out pretty good. Let's get this thing out in the hall. We can get started on this build, this water cooling build. All right. Let's get some stuff out of our way. Whoops. Get the back side, or the other side, not the back side, just the other side. We'll get these drive bays out. Make some room for everything we're putting in here. Let's get the motherboard installed. This is the Gigabyte X470 Aorus. Get this thing ready for CPU and RAM. This one's getting 4 sticks of RAM, if I remember right. And let's get it ready for graphics card as well. Well, let's get the CPU in there. We've got the 2700X going in. And we'll get the RAM installed next. We've got, where is it? Gigabyte Aorus. 4 sticks. There we go. All right. Go ahead and take the front of this case off. Get rid of that. And I believe this may need to go too. Let's get some thermal paste on that Ryzen processor, and we can start putting a few of the water cooling parts in. Let's get the block, the Alpha Cool block. Get that installed. Let's go ahead and get our radiator, the Alpha Cool 280 millimeter, and we will get our reservoir installed, which is this Alpha Cool. Don't know how you say that word, but that's what it is. Goes back here at the back where the fan originally was. They may want to upgrade this thing at some point with some fans. Just throwing that out there. All right. Let's go ahead and get some storage put in this thing. We've got the, where is it? Down here, the Gigabyte NVMe drive. Let's put it in that slot. And we've got the 2080 Founders Edition right here. Get that installed. And lastly, we need a power supply. So we've got the Gigabyte 850 watt, way more power than we probably need, but you know, it is what it is. I think we're ready to cable this up. So let's see, maybe we'll go with something orange. See how that looks. And then we're ready to pipe this as well. So let's get some clear rigid pipe. Let's see. We want to do some copper fittings maybe? How would that look? Oops. I can't see the copper fittings right now, but we'll take a look at them in just a sec here. let's run that kind of like that. Oh, those copper fittings aren't bad. And then we'll run from the block over here to the reservoir. That looks just fine for me. Then we can run from the reservoir back to the radiator. Let's move this tubing up. Maybe we can kind of match this other one. Excuse me. Let's see, can we bring this? There we go. That might be too much of an angle. Oh, it's probably fine. Let's accept that. Let's go ahead. We'll get some coolant in here. Let's see. How would some orange look? While that's pumping through there, let's go ahead and put a little bit of this case back together. Get this front panel put on. We'll get this side panel put on. I think that's all we'll do for right now, but we will go ahead and put our USB drive in. And we can power this thing up. Maybe? Did I forget something? Oh. Power button. Always got to wire up the power button. Now we can power it up, hop into the BIOS. Adjust our XMP. We will let this thing load up the operating system. See what our lighting looks like. It's all over the place. Let's get our lighting app on there. We also need 3D Mark on there. We need to get a 3D Mark score of 8211 if I remember right. Let's adjust this lighting first. Let's see how it would all look. Oops. We just make it orange. I can live with that. Not everything can be color changed. So, I'm going to get a 3D Mark running as soon as it is done. And I have a score. I will come right back. All right, so there it is, 9384. We needed 8211. We've definitely beaten that score. Let's get this side panel put on, and we can get this build out in the hallway and get started on the overclocking build. That didn't turn out too awfully bad. All right. Get this case taken apart. Let's get these things out of here. Get everything out of here. Get this side off. See, this fan needs to go. This filter needs to go. And we can start by getting our fans put in. Scroll down here. Figure out where our fans actually are. Make sure we've got lots of cooling for this particular build for the overclock. Let's see. Got 2 more of these 140 millimeter fans to put in. And then we've got a 120 of the same type going at the back. There it is. So plenty of fan. All right, let's get our motherboard in. The MSI MEG Z390 Ace. We will get that installed. Get those out of our way. Get this thing ready for RAM and CPU. We've got a 9700K going in there, as well as 2 sticks of Corsair Dominator Platinum, 8 gig, 3200 megahertz. Get that installed. Let's go ahead, get some thermal paste on here. And let's go ahead and install our M.2 drive. It's the Corsair Force Series. Put that here. Go ahead and get our CPU cooler on. So this Silverstone HE01 puts out lots and lots of air. All right. While we're at it, let's go ahead and get the rest of our storage in. We've got a 3 terabyte Barracuda drive going in here. And then we can go ahead and get our graphics card installed. We've got the MSI 1080 Ti. There we go. Let's go ahead and get our power supply in, and then we should be ready to cable this up and work on our overclock. Okay. Let's start cabling stuff up. Maybe we'll use a little bit of red cables here to go along with the MSI. Get all these fans, motherboard and the cooler, more fans, so many fans. Let's put this case back together a little bit as well. Let's see, is there a front dust filter? There was. We will get the front of the case put back on. Let's get this top dust filter on. Let me just put this thing back together completely. I don't know if air movement's a thing in this game, but if it is, it'd be best to do this overclock with everything buttoned up. We know what it's going to do. Let's get our USB drive in. Let's power this thing on, hop into the BIOS. Let's go ahead and turn our XMP on. Let's go ahead and get our overclock happening. We need to go to 52 on the ratio. Let's go to 1.65 volts. Make sure we're booting from the right drive. And hopefully this thing doesn't fry on us. Okay, well, that started up. So we need 3D Mark. Do we need to do anything with lighting? I don't think we do. We won't mess with lighting. Let's see, 3D Mark. Let's do OCCT to make sure that our overclock is stable. We'll let this thing restart for us. And we can check our overclock stability. See what we get. Hopefully no blue screen. This looks like it might be a winner to me. We're barely going over 80C occasionally. Going over 300 watts. Saw 320. All right, so that seems to be stable. Let's see what we get on our 3D Mark run. As soon as I have a score, or if it blue screens or something like that, I will come right back. All right, there you have it. 8491. We didn't get a blue screen or anything while it was running. I think this is ready to go. Let's take a quick look at it. I like the way it turned out. It looks pretty dang good to me. All right, let's put this thing out in the hall and we can collect some money. Let's close out this stuff that's in our way. Let's go ahead and collect that one. Useful K. Collect that one. And that DOS guy. Excellent. We unlocked some new parts. Ooh, nickel rigid pipe. Nice. And we got some new daily deals and lots more emails. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified as soon as another one of my videos goes live. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you in the next episode.